Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Muyassarah with metric number 225647. Today, my group will be talking about language and the brain. I'm sure all of us have realized that ever since we are young, we have been easily able to use language. It happens naturally for all of us, but the thing is, how does that actually happen? The utilization of language primarily for communicative purposes in our daily lives is directly linked to our brain. In relationship to this statement, neurolinguistics, which is a study of relationship between language and the brain, was introduced back in 19th century according to the Yule. Under the study of neurolinguistics, there are many more studies that focus on every aspect of humans' ability to use language, whether processing or producing it. Today, I will be talking about bilingualism. So, before we go deeper into this subject, what is bilingual? According to Yule, a bilingual individual is someone who knows two languages. Furthermore, bilingualism on an individual level is when a member of a minority group grows up in one linguistic community. However, as they grow up, they learn another language mainly to participate in a larger dominant linguistic community. Now, let us see how bilingualism relates to our theme today, language and the brain. According to David, a director from New York University, languages around the world differ from one another from pronunciation and meaning. However, the process of combining words to express complex thoughts are all the same among the languages. When one is bilingual, the switching between languages happens naturally. According to Phillips, a professor from New York University, this is because the brain has a combinatory mechanism located in the prefrontal cortex of the brain that does not detect the switching between of the languages. To have a better understanding regarding this concept, I will show you guys an example in real life, which is Bang Chan from Stray Kids.
Now see, that's the thing, because I don't really use emojis that much.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like, I don't know much.
Just words.
I just do the simple smile. The one that's just
그리고 곁에서 항상 함께 해주시는 우리 헤어 메이크업 스타일리스트 분들도 너무너무 감사드립니다. 저희에게 이런 큰 상을 주신
Bang Chan is a South Korean that migrated from South Korea to Australia at a very young age. He told his fans in his live Chan's Room on YouTube that his first language is Korean, which he learned as a child at home, and his second language is English, which he learned later on as he settled down in Australia. He speaks Korean with his family and relatives, and English with school friends and public. By referring to Yule, this phenomenon is called a diglossia, where bilingual individuals like Bang Chan use one language for everyday affairs like conversing with his family and friend, and another one for more formal use like formal lectures or in class or conversing with people in the public. Bang Chan has also mentioned that his brain automatically switches back and forth between English and Korean while thinking. That is all from me today. Thank you so much for listening.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Siti AFRINA binti Abdurrahim with my matric number 225088. So now I'll be talking about feral children and language and the brain. Feral children, also known as wild children, are who have grown up with little to no human contact. They are unaware of social human behavior and language. Therefore, this leads to children having delays in the development of their neural and psychological system, which support social and emotional learning. According to First Thing First, the average baby's brain at birth is about 1/4 of the size of the average adult brain. It doubles in size in the first year, and it keeps growing to about 80% of adult size by the age of 3, and 90% is nearly full grown by the age of 5. Plus, they are built through positive interaction with their parents by using their senses to interact with the world. A young child's daily experiences determine which brain connections develop. Like feral children, the lack of basic social skills that are normally learned in the process of enculturation. They almost have impaired language ability and mental function after having been isolated for so many years and often attributed to the existence of a critical period language learning. Dina Senichar, who was found alone in the jungle, living in a cave. He was captured by hunters and had survived amongst wild animals. Therefore, it was believed that he was isolated and had no human contact. This makes his thinking ability affected and cannot fully develop. Plus, he walked on all fours, would only eat raw meat and chew on bones to sharpen his teeth. His only form of communication consists of growling or howling. This incident happened because critical periods are times when the connections between brain cells are more malleable and open to the influence of a certain type of life experience. During this moment, these connections, known as synapses, can grow or strengthen more readily. After this phase, synaptic connections typically develop and making wiring changes later in life more difficult. Lack of certain experiences in adolescence can have a significant impact on how brain connections form.
Assalamualaikum and greetings to our lecturer, NABILAH, and to everyone watching. I am FARIHAH, and now I'm going to continue with the next concept, which is slip of the ear. According to you, slip of the ear is an error in listening in which a word or phrase is mistaken for another because it sounds similar in speech or conversation. This occurrence happens when someone misinterprets words or phrases that they heard due to various reasons such as different types of accents or pronunciations.
Now, let's take a look at the relationship between slips of the ear and the language and the brain.
As stated in you, the theme Language and the Brain focuses on the connections between core language functions and particular brain regions. Slips of the ear, although are mostly treated as hearing flaws or inaccuracy in interpretation, may actually result from slips of brain as it tries to comprehend words that are perceived. As reported by Ibn Ashworth, a communication and journalism lecturer from New Mexico University, it is very natural for our brain to often make mistakes and try to sort out confusing parts of language by filling in the blanks based on any possible context. Slips of the ear may give us a clue to the normal workings of the human brain as it copes with language. They tend to be humorous or entertaining at times, especially when they occur during conversations, which can result in funny exchange of misunderstandings. Now that I've explained to you what is slips of the ear, let's take a look at the real-world example of how slips of the ear can potentially occur in daily life.
I made fun of him because his mom used to dig coal.
What?
He said you were a coal digger.
Okay, I think we can move on.
Who said I was a coal digger?
That's what my mom told me.
What's a coal digger?
Sweetheart, you heard it wrong. It's gold digger.
In one episode of the TV show Modern Family, the character Luke Dunphy misheard the word gold digger as coal digger. This is likely to happen since both coal and gold have similar number of syllables and pronunciations when spoken. When certain words have similar syllables or pronunciations, it is easy for the listeners to experience slips of the ear and misinterpret the words perceived. For instance, the word peace can easily be mistaken as the word peace if spoken without any context. When someone experiences an ear slip, they may misinterpret or misunderstand what they heard or perceived, leading to confusion or poor communication. The listener may also misunderstand or mishear anything as a result of personal assumptions they may have made themselves based on the possible context or their own prior experiences. In this case, the character Luke was an innocent kid who probably never heard of the word gold digger. Thus, he comprehended the word as coal digger based on his own assumptions according to any possible or existing context. This is one of the many instances of how ear slips can potentially occur in daily life. So that is all from me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is RUQAYYAH and I'm here to talk about tongue slips. Human speech is far from perfect. Every speech is full of different kinds of speech errors, which are commonly referred to as slips of the tongue. According to you, tongue slip is speech error in which a sound or word is produced in the wrong place. Furthermore, slips of the tongue can also be defined as a type of speech error or speech disfluency in which sounds, syllables, or whole words change their location between two or more words in an utterance. In the context of slips of the tongue, A speaker wants to say something but unintentionally says something else. Thus, this event resulting one to experience the speech error, which known as the tongue slips. Next, I will elaborate about relationship between language and the brain and tongue slips. Speech production is an extremely rapid and seemingly effortless process with speech errors in normal subjects being rare. On some occasions, we may experience difficulty in getting brain and speech production to work smoothly. Although psycholinguistic models incorporate elaborate monitoring mechanisms to prevent and correct errors, the brain regions involved in their commitment, detection, and correction have remained elusive. A study by Jane Moller identified a medial frontal generator in the supplementary motor area as the main source of the negativity preceding the erroneous vocalizations. Thus, we can come to the point where these minor production difficulties which occur within our brain is resulting us to make error in our speech.
Replacing the old political, I know. Replacing. Absolutely. Thank you. Replacing old polluting vehicles.
Nirmala Sitharaman is a finance minister of India. While presenting the budget in Parliament, elaborating on green growth, which among 7 priorities of the Union budget, Nirmala Sitharaman accidentally said replacing old political instead of old polluting vehicles. This phenomenon is called spoonerisms. Spoonerisms is a verbal error in which a speaker accidentally transposes the initial sounds or letters of 2 or more words. As in Nirmala's case, words political and polluting share the same initial sounds. Thus, this event resulted in Nirmala's brain to get a minor difficulty in differentiate the sounds, resulting her to give the wrong output to her words.
That's all from me. Thank you for listening.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Syahmi, and today I will be talking about Broca's aphasia. So what is Broca's aphasia? According to you, Broca's aphasia affects the Broca's area of the brain. It is also known as expressive aphasia. It is characterized by reduction in speech and distorted articulation, slow and effortful speech. Speech produced mainly consists of morphemes, and it is agrammatic in nature, with a frequent deletion of functional morphemes and inflectional morphemes. For example, patient diagnosed with Broca's aphasia might say something like "me store yesterday buy milk," which is translated into "yesterday I went to the store to buy milk." So what is the relationship between Broca's aphasia and neurolinguistics? The discovery of Broca's aphasia is important in the field of neurolinguistics. According to David Morrison and Mary Joan Lang, understanding Broca's aphasia is essential for designing an assessment plan and intervention measures tailored to the students for cognitive, emotional, and academic development. Now, we will watch the real-world example of Broca's aphasia, which is Sarah Scott.
Okay, so what's your name?
Scott. Oh, no. Sarah Scott.
That's right. And how old are you?
I can't.
Try.
I can't.
Oh. You're 19. 19.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what happened to you?
Stroke.
Now we will stop right there and we will do some analysis on the video. Now the key points taken from the video is Sarah displayed her difficulties by showing pauses and giving limited words in responding to rather simple questions. However, it is concluded that she still could comprehend the questions given. Her speech production is mostly consists of morphemes, which is nouns, verb, and etc., and it is agrammatic, which is aligned to the definition of Broca's aphasia. Now, summary the background of Sarah Scott is when she was 18, she became ill during sixth form English literature class. She assumed she was fatigued from the night before because it was the first class of the day. Some of her classmates noticed symptoms of a stroke and called 911. After she was transported to the hospital, it was determined that the stroke was caused by a PFO or heart hole. A decade later, she still suffers from the after effect of her brain injury, including expressive aphasia. Now that is all for me. Thank you for watching.